some electrifying news for BEC consumers, and the multi-million-dollar cost to make it happen.
Also ahead, more than 100 new low-cost homes on the government's agenda.
And the local hotel honors some of its top employees. The National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Topping the news, it's a typical summertime irony, rolling blackouts and heavy electricity bills.
However, BEC's Chairman Leslie Miller today announced that can soon be reduced, along with a reduction in our electricity bills as BEC makes a big investment.
We are very hopeful, and I believe it's going to be done between now and July. You should see anywhere from 7 to 10% reduction in your electricity bill. We're working with some people out of this region and trying to get cheaper fuel for BEC. If that takes place between now and December, you should see another 10 to 15% reduction in your electricity bills.
Now, Mr. Miller was addressing the Bahamas Society of Engineers during their monthly meeting this afternoon. He added that the corporation's board is in discussions with an international conglomerate in the hopes of purchasing 3 42-megawatt slow-speed diesel engines for its Clifton Pier plant at a cost of $285 million. He says the acquisition of the 3 new engines will shave millions off the corporation's hefty fuel bill, which will drive down the cost of electricity for consumers.
So if we can put in those new engines at Clifton, it would mean that we can reduce our reliance on Blue Hills, and thereby we can cut the cost of electricity to you, the consumer, by no less than 20%. No less than that. Because every month, while we run Blue Hills to the detriment of Clifton, it is causing the consumer in this country no less than $6.2 million every single month. And when you consider $6 million a month times 12, that's $72 million right there. So we're looking at this $100 million savings that would amount to some 20 to 25% reduction on your bill directly.
Motorists haven't traditionally been fans of bus drivers, often complaining about their driving habits. But passengers also have their complaints, which have been as major as showing pornographic movies on board. While those bus drivers concede to some of the complaints, they have their concerns as well, as Janae Noel Ferguson found when she talked with some of them today.
When bus franchise owner Mark Moss drives his bus, there's no loud music, no reckless driving, and definitely no pornographic movies. But on a daily basis, bus riders say many other bus drivers are guilty of those offenses, something Moss says has to stop.
A lot of good drivers out there. Again, like I said, I can't speak for all of the routes, but I can represent 16A for sure. We have a lot of excellent drivers.
Moss said bus drivers are hoping to form an association that would manage bus drivers and seek feedback from the public on their concerns.
His concerns would be the speeding and the amount of loud music being played. I feel as if they're more catering to the young persons and what they're probably considering cool and whatnot.
The bus drivers would swerve all over the road to catch $1. I mean, they barely almost knocking on people. I just don't like it.
People who waiting on the bus stop is blocking the stores, and it's really bad. They really need to put the buses, find another place for them to be.
We did find one resident who believes that bus drivers, for the most part, are doing a great job.
Overall, I think most of the drivers are very professional, and I think with the music and the TV, it kind of entertains the people when they're on the buses.
But bus drivers en route in the downtown area admitted to shortcomings among bus drivers.
We really need a busing system in place so that this road rage could stop. But if the government could really do something like that, it'll be good for us. Okay. Us as owners of drivers, because it's really those drivers who working for somebody who really cause the problems out here. But
Moss, however, says bus drivers have their horror stories as well.
You have people, they demanding that you stop, and when you don't stop, then they cussing you out inside the bus, or they carrying on bad inside. Don't let this bus pass back. You ain't stop on my bus stop.
We get wild drivers on the road too. You know what I'm saying? And then the problem is really like when we park here to get customers, the police run them.
Bus fare is $1.25, but we still have a lot of people that are giving $1. Listen, what the bus drivers are doing right now, listen, if you were in the States, you can't short demand 25 cents.
Now, the New Providence Road Improvement Project has also affected business, as no proper signage for bus stops are in place, like this location near Malcolm and Blue Hill Road, where the bus stop has been moved further along the road, often attributing to the traffic. Moss says when the new system comes into play, there is one thing, however, that bus drivers are concerned about.
We don't want no outsider to come in because, all of a sudden they realize that it's an $80 million industry or a $40 million industry. Now, all of a sudden, they're coming in trying to take over the system, and then eventually within 3 to 5 years, those who are actually in the system are now out of the system.
Now, while there might be a few bad apples in the bunch, the bus drivers say they're committed to making the streets more safe and ensuring that their customers have a more enjoyable experience. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez officially opened the symposium on non-communicable diseases and their risk factors today. The event brought together multi-sectional and non-governmental agencies with the aim of forming a national commission for the elimination of premature morbidity and mortality, something that Minister Gomez says is of national importance. Dr. Gomez noted that the Bahamas has launched a number of programs to prevent NCDs, but that more needs to be done.
Those programs even preceded the Caribbean's heralded efforts. Of this we must be proud, but we cannot rest on our laurels because although we helped spearhead the clarion call to the world, we must now focus on spearheading the reversal of the increasing burden on our society. Doing this will be when real progress can be reflected upon.
Dr. Jerry Ijikeman, World Health Organization representative for the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands, said the formation of a commission is an opportunity for the Bahamas to make history.
This is also part of a larger Healthy Bahamas initiative, a multi-stakeholder initiative that aims at improving the living conditions of the people in the Bahamas, particularly of the poor, the inner city poor in New Providence, but of course in the whole Bahamas. And this is in order to improve their health. In other words, in fancy words, addressing the social determinants of health, the conditions in which people are born, and the conditions in which they grow up, they live, they work, and they age.
The Public Hospital Authority says it does have the asthma medication albuterol in stock and available in all forms for patients at the various hospitals and clinics across New Providence. The PHA also pointed out that the drug is available in full supply at clinics throughout New Providence, in particular those clinics in those areas that have been affected by the smoke from the dump fire. The Ministry of the Environment and Housing intends to invest some $10 million into building 130 new homes. Minister of the Environment and Housing, the Honorable Kenred Dorset, said the Ministry of Finance and NIB have already approved the project. However, he said the new homes will be built in existing subdivisions to kind of cut costs.
Last week, the Ministry of Finance and NIB just agreed on providing us with a $10 million first tranche of funding, which should enable us to at least complete the build out of 130 homes. The construction will be focused in subdivisions where we have existing infrastructure to ensure that the vast majority of the monies will be used for vertical construction and to ensure that we're able to turn it over into keys quickly as opposed to putting it into infrastructure.
Minister Dorset also noted that apart from building homes locally, houses will also be built on Grand Bahama.
We will be building out in Straughns Hill, in Fire Trail. We have a number of scattered sites throughout New Providence that we'll also focus on. And in Grand Bahama, we'll be building in Bahamia West replat. Like I said, areas where we have existing subdivision, so it'll give us value for money quickly in terms of how we expend it. Because $10 million in terms of housing and structure is not a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it'll give us the ability to construct 130 homes.
The Defense Force apprehended 89 undocumented Haitian migrants west of Farmers Key in the Exumas yesterday afternoon. Acting on tips from local fishermen, P-45 officers intercepted, boarded, and searched the 35-foot sailing sloop just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 72 men and 17 women were on board. They're now in the capital for processing. Defense Force officials say the group appeared to be in good health after reportedly leaving Port-au-Paix 4 days ago.
3 men, ages 48, 39, and 27 tonight are in police custody after being found in possession of an estimated $750,000 worth of cocaine and weed. Drug enforcement officers arrested the men around 11:40 this morning after conducting a search of a red Kia Sedona van occupied by the 3 men. Acting on intelligence, police went to Silk Cotton Street in Pinewood Gardens, where they confiscated 42 kilos of suspected cocaine and 14 pounds of suspected marijuana. The suspected cocaine has an estimated street value of $736,000 and the suspected marijuana an estimated value of $14,000.
A documentary aired right here on the ZNS television network about the 50th anniversary of the women's suffrage movement has apparently helped to spark a Women's Unite movement conference here in the country.
Well, today, members of the Women's United Association, in partnership with the CEO Network and the Ministry of Social Services and Community Development, honored the corporation for its work.
I just want to salute you on behalf, and each will speak for themselves. But sometimes we do not give credit to the team that makes it work. I felt so proud, Mr. Chairman, as a broadcast professional to see the entire team, the production team. I am obviously experienced and know what it takes. And they were so proud. They were so enthusiastic about what they did.
Being together was so inspiring. We felt more than energized. We did not wish to leave each other's company. And the feeling of unity, the breaking down of barriers was absolutely strong. It was poignant. You could touch it, you see? And it created that type of climate.
To the joint sitting of Parliament, with the Senate and Parliament. And we were able to, at that time, pay honor to women like Mrs. Bostwick, like Ruby Ann Darling, and of course to the women of the suffrage movement on whose shoulders we stand.
Now, Chairman and Executive Vice President of the BCB, Reverend Dr. William Thompson, and Kayleeser DeVoe Isaac say they're both grateful that the documentary aired on ZNS and played a critical role in creating a new movement for women.
Women, again, we at the Broadcasting Corporation, and I think I can speak for men throughout the country, we really appreciate what you would have done, and our prayer is through this Women Unity movement, we would see greater and grander things.
On behalf of the board, Shanique, and our production team, I think this is the first time we've had something like this, and we say thank you to you for coming back to us. We knew it was a very important event. We knew that it was a history lesson. ZNS has always been the leader out there, and we knew that we had to make something extra special happen.
In our first look at weather, high pressure ridge continues to generate moderate breezes, but outside of our studios just now, we have just a few clouds, temperature 79 degrees, your relative humidity 62%, winds out of the northeast at 10 knots, your barometric pressure 1,019.4 millibars. That's about 30.10 inches, and it is steady. But stay tuned, temperatures around the Falmouth Islands, travel and boating forecast is still to come.
Still ahead tonight, sandals make some people very happy. We'll tell you who coming up.
And find out why orchids are taking over. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
The recognition is priceless.